Guys, the Earthling Maniac with this second video about wrestling and third video in general. We're going to be talking about the 5 biggest scandals in WWE that rocked it to its core. These are going to be my 5 biggest scandals, so if you have any of yours, leave them down in the comments. We're going to be talking about rumors and facts. So let's start. So my first scandal is going to be Chyna. Chyna, for those of you who don't know, is a female wrestler who's known to be pretty strong from the 1980s and 1990s, who's also a member of D-Generation X, which had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, or as you know him, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Actually, none of you would probably know him as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And it also had X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn. I think Rick Rude was also a member at some point. And so, then it is widely known that Triple H was dating Chyna. But it is then rumored that, and it's also known that Triple H is married to Stephanie McMahon. But it is rumored that Triple H had started dating Stephanie McMahon at the time he was in a relationship with Chyna, the female wrestler. So, it is also when Chyna confronted she said that when she confronted Vincent McMahon about it, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, or no chance in hell. And so she calls him up and he has a very, very casual attitude about this. As the type of attitude which is like, well, the secret's out then. So she confronts Triple H. Then she says gets into a fight with Triple H in which he gives her a black eye. This is Chyna's claims. Triple H thoroughly denies these statements and claims they never happened. And she's not being considered as a solo competitor for the Hall of Fame. And it is very, very controversial in the past, but still controversial due to the circumstances leading to her untimely death. So, my fourth scandal is gonna be my fourth scandal is gonna be a curtain call. So the curtain call is an incident that occurred with Shawn Michaels, Triple H in his snobby prince or whatever he was at that time. Royalty form, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And for those of you who don't watch wrestling from the 2010s, and who only watched it around the 1980s and 1970s, etc., Kevin Nash is Diesel and Scott Hall is Razor Ramon. So, Razor Ramon and Kevin Nash are both departing for WCW. And they are all interconnected. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. They're all friends. They're in a group called The Clique. So all of them, at the end of their matches on a respective night, inside a cell, raise each other's hands for a standing ovation. So this was the equivalent to spitting on a dog's poop, which was the size of a dog, setting it on fire, putting it in somebody's chimney, and then setting that house on fire. This was seriously breaking kayfabe, very bad. So then we know. Then Triple H gets the blunt punishment. He's turned into a jobber. Shawn Michaels can't take any punishment because of the fact that he's going to get the world title put on him. And the last one, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are both leaving for WCW, so there's no punishment for them. Scandal number 3, the pills. The incident of steroids by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So it is widely known that around the 1990s and 2000s, it is not said, this is a fact, that Vincent Kennedy McMahon was supplying pills and steroids to his wrestlers. And these and he was brought to court for this and attacked. And now WWE is forced to implement a wellness policy, which is, if you violate this wellness policy once, you are suspended for 30 days. If you violate it twice, you are suspended for 60 days. And if you violate it 3 times, you are fired. So this was very controversial again. So then we have my next pick. So my pick for the number 2 spot is the Montreal Screwjob with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Anybody notice that Shawn Michaels is involved in a lot of these? It must be me. So either ways, Shawn Michaels, Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Triple H have tried to screwed Bret Hart out of the WWE title. Bret Hart was one of the wrestlers leaving for WCW, and he was going to give up the title for 30 days. He could do whatever he wanted, basically, before he left. So he said he would not lose the world title in Canada, his hometown. And Vincent Kennedy McMahon did not trust him to give up the belt. He thought he was going to take it to WCW. So Vincent Kennedy McMahon screwed Bret Hart. And which turned him to the evil boss character that he is. Because otherwise Vincent Kennedy McMahon was just a commentator. So Shawn Michaels uses the sharpshooter, a submission maneuver, against Bret Hart. It's Bret Hart's maneuver, but Shawn Michaels is using it against him. This is commonly known as stealing somebody else's move. Again, not disrespectful if you're doing it in a match, but if you're doing it in real life, then yes, it is disrespectful. So, Bret Hart did not tap out, so he did not lose the title. But the bell rang. Shawn Michaels was given the title, and he was screwed out of the title. And then, in an interview about it, later on, Vince said the iconic line, "I did not screw Bret. Bret screwed Bret," which is complete bull, if you ask me. Bull. Then we have our number 1 spot. I have no jokes about this, and I should talk about it though. Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was a wrestler from 1997 to 2004, 2006. He was a very popular wrestler and a very popular babyface, and was probably certain for a Hall of Fame career. But then he did something very, very bad. So we should know at this time that he has been taking steroids. He had excessive brain damage from doing a move called the Brain Buster. And this is all, and he recently lost one of his best friends, Eddie Guerrero. He's in a bad mental state. So you can judge him, but I don't. So, he was cited to go for a ECW pay-per-view, but misses it, citing that his son is not well. But in reality, he murdered his wife and his son over the course of the weekend, and then he killed himself. Now that is already very bad, but WWE, when they were informed of his death, not knowing the circumstances, aired a memorial for him, which cited all of these wrestlers, stating how much they loved him, how much he was a great wrestler. And on one hand, yes, he was a great wrestler, but you can't talk like that now. So on the next night, they apologized. Then Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself shows up, who is also supposed to be dead at this point for a storyline, and he says that we did not know the circumstances of this event, and we apologize to you, and the name Chris Benoit will not be mentioned on TV. That's basically what he says. And this is a very tragic event, and I'm very, very sad it happened, as are many other wrestling fans, as he could have been one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But his personality, not his personality, but his addictions and his brain cost him. It is said that he did not even know what he was doing at this point. So guys, that's the list. I'm done with my top 5 scandals. So my next list will probably be on Monday. Love you all. Earthling Maniac. My list is done, and my next list will be on gaming.